Your Majesty, thank you very much for having us today in your palace.
Thank you very much for coming.
So if I may ask you, we just witnessed a display of culture. What is the significance of it to you and to the people here in Osun State?
Well, humanity and culture can never be separated. That has been the bane of our existence. It's very important for us to know that without culture, we are nobody. That's who we are. That's what actually has formed the basis of our existence by our forebears. So it's very important for us to know that culture is part of us and we are part of culture. Anybody that loses culture, very, very much you have lost your identity. So, as the custodian of culture and tradition of the Yoruba people, we hold it in a very high esteem that it should be part of our day-to-day life activities. So it's part of us. We can never, ever jettison it. It's very important for us, and that's who we are.
So let me ask you, Your Majesty, during election period, you have all kinds of people in your kingdom who run for political office. You have even presidential candidates seeking audience, coming to pay homage. When you meet them, what do you tell them?
We basically see them once like that in about 4 years, based on Nigerian constitution. And the truth be told, that's the time they hear hard truth from various traditional rulers across the entire country. Because we are fathers to all, we're not meant to pay any partial politics. Because all political parties will definitely visit the palace and various palaces because we are the closest to our people and thanks to our culture, because we are the custodian of culture and tradition. So our people respect more the traditional institutions than anything because we uphold our culture very well. We uphold our tradition very well. So as a result, when they come around like that, we let them know the truth. As far as I'm concerned, from Kingdom of Ife and the entire Yoruba kingdom, we let them know the truth. But democracy in Nigeria now is 20 years. As a result, a 20-year-old should be working and working well now. Ideally, we'll be rounding up from school. A 20-year-old has become an adult. So I don't think we are still practicing nascent democracy. But so far, so good. It's very important for our leaders to be listening to the traditional rulers. But it's up to them whether they listen or not. They've perfected the system so well that they don't retain any form of authority in traditional institution, despite the fact that traditional institution very, very strong because they are only there constitutionally for 8 years. We are there forever until God says the time is up. So as a result, our people gravitate towards us more than any other person that are in governance, that are in position of leadership. So as a result, we know the good, the bad, and the ugly in the society. We know them very well. We know where to get them. We know where to fish them out. So we tell them the truth all the time. But they don't, unfortunately, they don't listen to all the truth. But we'll keep telling them the truth. I believe very strongly that at some point in this country, leadership will play the role of being servants to the people because they don't see themselves as servants. They don't see themselves as stewards because it's about stewardship. You should be accountable to people. You hold public position on behalf of people. Power belongs to the people. So at some point, we know that things will change.
Your Majesty, you touched on something right now. What I want to ask you about is, what role do you anticipate traditional rulers playing in Nigeria's democracy?
If you look at the history of this country, if you look at it all the way as far as 1914 amalgamation of the two protectorates wouldn't have been possible without the traditional rulers. If you look at our independence in 1960, it wouldn't have been possible without the traditional rulers. And if you look at the first republic in this country, it wouldn't have been possible with without the traditional rulers. Even Second Republic. We are in Third Republic right now, as in the phase. We've gone through the phase of democracy. The first one came to be, the military dictatorship took over. Second one came to be, it was upturned by military dictatorship. We are on the third tranche of it now. And for the last 20 years, it's been having a very strong root in the system, a system that has been predominantly dominated by military dictatorship. So as a result, we play and we will continue to play a very pivotal role. If we don't play a role, I want to ask you a question. Why do they come to the palaces? What do they come and do? If they know we don't play relevance in what electorate will say eventually about them, why do they come to our palaces are the first point of call, the first point they stop before they go out for campaigns, any locality, because they know that people gravitate towards the palaces. People believe in traditional institutions so much. It's our culture. It's part of our culture. Like I talked earlier on, our culture is us. We are our culture.
So, Your Majesty, with what you have said so far, is there any strategic effort by all traditional rulers in the country to bind together to promote the country's peace, to ensure its territorial integrity is protected, and to unite Nigeria? I ask that because recently there have been talks about renegotiating the unity of Nigeria, among other issues. You know this quite well.
Well, that's a very good question, and so far so good. We have actually realized the strength in traditional institutions. In Nigeria now, we have all come together under the umbrella of National Council of Traditional Rulers of a Country. That's the umbrella body for the entire country. Nigeria is the most populous black nation in the world. If anything should go wrong, for God forbid, it will affect the entire black race. So we are very, very mindful of the leadership role that we're playing. So as a result, our National Council of Traditional Rulers is very strong now. We have redefined it, we have refreshed it, and we have renewed it. And myself and Sultan of Sokoto, we are the co-chairmen of the National Council of Traditional Rulers in Nigeria. Sultan of Sokoto as the one in charge of traditional institutions in the northern part of the country. And to the glory of God, Ooni of Ife for the southern part of the country. Because the amalgamation of Nigeria is the northern and southern protectorate when they came together. We went back to our history for us to have actually come to terms to that. So we are both co-chairmen of the National Council of Traditional Institutions, Traditional Rulers in Nigeria. And what we are doing now is we will form a formidable force to compel our leaders to do what is just, what is equitable, what is fair, and what is right to our people. Because power belongs to the people in real terms. And they should realize that they must actually give back to the people. They should realize that everything they are doing, it's on behalf of the people. They should realize that every decision they make, it's not about them. They call them public servants. They didn't call them private servants. They didn't call them private servants to serve their immediate families and friends. It is public. Public means everybody that constitutionally is a Nigerian, both home and in diaspora. Is very important. So it is the mindset that we have to change now. The stronger we come together, the better for this nation. So over the last 5 years, we've been playing that active role to bring all of us together, for us to be on the same page and challenge our government and let them know that what you're doing is not morally and fairly right. And that's what we've been doing. So far, so good. It's been coming very strongly, and our leaders have been coming to terms. So far, so good.
So, Your Majesty, let me ask you, as the youngest Oni, looking at your background and looking at what you are into now, are there things that you think you would want to refine, change, improve, amend to improve the living conditions of your people?
Absolutely. One thing that, to the glory of God, I've been able to achieve so far is to blend tradition and modernity. At some point, the two of them shouldn't go parallel. They should meet. Because out of modernity, tradition actually gave birth to modernity. Without tradition, there wouldn't have been modernity till date. It is tradition that even gave birth to you wearing clothes today, and me wearing clothes. A lot of people don't even know all over the world that we, the black people, were the first to wear clothes. We planted cotton wool the very first time in the world right in this palace by our progenitor Oduduwa. And it is from tradition that we realized that we can start the looming technology of weaving cloths. And today everybody is enjoying it. So tradition and modernity is very important. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to blend tradition and modernity together for us to take it to another level. It's critical for us to know that our people can benefit immensely well from this. And to the glory of God, I've been able to achieve that. And another thing is to support government, not to leave everything to government to do. We have something called societal efforts. The society, the community, communal effort, we come together to do things by ourselves. We do sanitation by ourselves. We clean the environment by ourselves. Anytime we're having festivals, because we usually have festival in Kingdom of Ife almost every day, we come together to make it happen. We come together to uphold our heritage. So therefore, communal effort is way stronger than what government will do, because a lot of people have lost hope in what government will do. Anytime we have issues concerning potholes in the road, the entire community will come together and block all the potholes. If you look at the entire Kingdom of Ife, it is through communal efforts that we've been able to do electrification of the entire street lights of all the streets of Ife. And it has never happened in the whole of Nigeria. We are the one pioneering it, so that young little children can come out and do their assignments underneath the street lights. There will be night economy. People will come out, and it will have a very positive economic effect on the community. So far so good. I'm championing a lot of initiatives, a lot of empowerment for the widows, for the less privileged. They are in thousands. And so far so good. Communal efforts is the way to go. And it's in fractions. The more it's been fractionalized, the better it will reach out to every populace. So far so good. We don't joke with communal and community efforts in Kingdom of Ife.
Your Majesty, what about harnessing the potential of the youth in going into agriculture to feed the nation, your people here and across the country? How do you harness it? I know you know this quite well, but how do you do this? How do you improve the lives of the people by harnessing their potential in agriculture and other aspects of your initiatives?
Well, in Nigeria to date, when it comes to agricultural initiatives being powered by the youth, we don't have any success story other than in Kingdom of Ife. We've been able to put together more than 300,000 youths, and we've been able to divide them into different sections. By virtue of that, the federal government of Nigeria set up what NISTRAL. NISTRAL is a subsidiary of Central Bank, and out of what came out of NISTRAL, federal government gave them a subvention and intervention fund to start $500 million for them to help and improve Nigerian youth towards improved crops and seedlings. And that initiative started in Ife because of the success story of what we've been able to do across the entire country, and they have realized what we've been able to achieve. And so far, so good. We are like a mirror for the entire country as far as agricultural produce and various initiatives and enhancement as far as it's concerned. So therefore, right now, we are still championing the cause of making the life of a lot of Nigerian youths and the Kingdom of Ife, the youth of this place, to make their life to be better. Nigeria has too much potentials in terms of human and material resources. We are so blessed naturally. We have the best weather in the world, tropical rainforest weather. So why are we complaining of abject poverty? We have risen to that occasion. We're not waiting for government. Government is looking at what we're doing to actually formulate their policies. And I've just given you a very good example of NISRAL. They gave them $500 million, and they're still getting more money to do guarantees to a lot of Nigerian youth. So far, so good. We are getting a lot of success.
During election period, Your Majesty, there have been instances where politicians use the youth to create problems. Sometimes, in years to come, it degenerates into terrorism and militancy and all that. How do you address this as a traditional ruler?
It's very unfortunate. I have an advocacy program now that I tell the youths that, look, they are telling you to come and disrupt things. Ask them that where is their own son and their daughters. The day their sons and daughters are part of you in terms of carrying, disrupting things, carrying guns, cutlasses and destructive materials, then it's okay. But you rarely find their own offspring. I'm talking of the politicians using the Nigerian youth to foment trouble everywhere. So all the questions that I ask those youths is, have you seen any one of them with their children? Their children they're in the United States of America, schooling there. They don't even want to come to Nigeria. They make all the money here and take it to the US to sort their own offspring out. They're in the United Kingdom. They're in the Western countries. But why are you not, don't you want to go there to have that exposure? Home is home. We have to build this home together. All the money they spend outside this country, they make it here. So the day you start seeing their children, and so far so good, we are reorientating the minds of a lot of Nigerian youth. I am a very strong advocate of Nigerian youth. Everybody knows that. I wine and dine, I breathe the youth of this country. The throne belongs to them, it's been dedicated to them. Anytime Nigerian youths have issues, they run to this throne. We look at issues together and how to resolve those issues. So it's a throne dedicated to them. On this throne, we're part of the pressure group for None Too Young to Run bill, and today it's been approved. So now we have a lot of Nigerian youth coming out to be the president in their 30s. That to me is an achievement. Coming out to become senators, House of Rep members in their late 20s. To me, I don't believe in failure. At least they've attempted. Before, we don't have things like that. So we're getting there. If you look at the demography of people that will vote, up to 50 years of age in Nigeria, over 80% are going to vote. Between age of 18 and 35, we have more than 50%. So what are we talking about? The country belongs to them. Let us work towards how we will give the country to the right owners of the country. And the right owners of this country are Nigerian youths. So it's our campaign. We'll keep campaigning, we'll keep championing it, we'll keep advocating for it. And very soon, we will get there.
Your Majesty, 20 years of democracy, or the re-embrace of democracy in Nigeria, what do you think the prospects are?
If you look at the Western world, their own democracy didn't take shape in 20 years. They had a lot of chaos, very chaotic. If you go to Europe, if you go to United States, democracy of United States is over 200 years right now, and yet they still have one or two issues. So we believe that we will improve. We believe that we will get there, but Rome wasn't built in a day. What I will tell people from the Western world is, let them look at the good side of things coming out of Africa. Not the bad side all the time. What of their own bad side? They have their own bad side too. So for me, the good side of it in Nigeria is we are sustaining it. It's now sustainable. It has reached 20 years. It has never gone that far before. That is a successful story. Before, it will only be happen for 3, 4, 5 years. It will happen for 7 years. That's the highest we've had. We've not had 8-year cycle completed in the history of this country. But now we have had 8-year cycle completed twice. That is 16 years. And we have had another 4 years completed cycle, making 20 years. So we're going to get into another 4-year cycle that we will decide this weekend. That is a successful story. It has never happened in the history of this country. Before, military people will have come and break it. But now, military coup is becoming a thing of the past. It's becoming unpopular. So that's an achievement. Fine, we are not there yet. We still have a very, very unscrupulous politicians that are not very sincere. They don't love the people. If they know the real thing they are going to do, they won't even vie for the post. Because a public servant belongs to the public. You serve the public. You must not have things that are more than the public. Eyes are on you. Your accounts, the way you dress, the way you talk, everything. They must be careful. Then you must not even enrich yourself. So it will be, at some point, political offices in Nigeria will be very discouraging for people. Because when the system is in place, how can you break a system when everything in Nigeria has been properly institutionalized? So you realize that you're just there, a public figure. How do you want to break it? It's not possible. So I think we still have prospects.
Before we leave, Your Majesty, what is your message to the people in Osun State and then the people of Nigeria and the world at large?
My message to the people of Osun State, first, is we are indeed a mirror. Election was executed here last, a major election before the one we'll do this Saturday. My message is to the youth of the state that they should please go out en masse, perform their civic duty. Power belongs to their fingers, their thumb, or to their hand. They have relevance. They will decide the future of the country. Let them come out and let them not believe in any politicians deceiving them to go and cause and foment trouble. It does not pay. Peace and peaceful coexistence is critical. So to the entire country at large, I'm a lover of Nigerian youth. I am very dedicated to things Nigerian youth does. So what is critical for me is for this election to go in peace, for everything to go in peace, for all of us to ensure that there is a smooth transition and power belongs to the people. Let us go and exercise that right. And God bless Nigeria, and God bless the entire continent of Africa, and God bless all of us, the entire human race.